Hey folks, end all be all here, and as you can see, I'm in a slightly different location. I'm actually at my in-laws' place for the holiday week. A couple of weeks actually, I'll be here in Toronto, and I'm actually recording this out of my father-in-law's basement where we have a liquor cabinet. So this is going to be my recording studio for the next couple of weeks as we get through week two of GAC. Hopefully the audio and video quality is good enough. The lighting is not the same as what I'm used to, but I think this will have to do. All right. Now, let's get on with our GAC. This is actually the finals of the first week. I skipped recording week two, the day two of my GAC since I was traveling at the time. But let me quickly give you a brief overview of week two, of day two. I faced a guy called Archangel from the Awesome team, pretty similar to me in terms of roster. Had about 5 GLs just like I have. And one of the GLs didn't have Ultimate Jedi Master Kenobi, and my Lord Vader didn't have Ultimate. So pretty even in terms of GLs, in terms of mods, in terms of even Executor. He had a 7-star Executor, so did I. I wasn't able to clear his board. I just did. I had I didn't have enough teams. I think on offense to clear his Mon Mothma. Because the bulk of my teams were on defense, but I one shot more or less everything else, and including his executor, and I ended up with a score of 1380. And then my opponent could only clear 2 zones. I'd kept 1 GL up top, 1 GL down below, GL Kenobi down below, where my opponent really struggled against, and against the Maul team as well. But they were able to take out my top zone, which had a non-ultimate Lord Vader and a few other teams. And then they went ahead and did my ships as well. So, relatively tougher defense up front. Just modified my defense according to the roster of my opponent. Nothing much at the back because I was hoping that he would get tripped up the front. So pretty simple victory. And now we come on to my current match, which is against Rambling Kyle from the guild Mandalorian Horizon. Now, Rambling Kyle is a pretty big Kraken. His GP is about 9.7, I think, compared to my 7.8. So about 1.9 million more than me. But GP really doesn't matter. What matters is other things like GLs, for example. I've got 4.5 GLs. I've got half a Lord Vader with an ultimate, without an ultimate, and he's got 8 GLs, all with their ultimate, all Relic 8. The Jedi Master Luke is Relic 9, in fact. And almost all, if I look down his roster, almost all of his characters are either Relic 8 or Relic 9 at the top of the range. Most of them are Relic 7. So not only is all his characters Relic, they are all like highly Relic. Like, who has an R8 Thrawn? R8 Ahsoka Tano, and tons of Relic 7 and Relic 8 where you really wouldn't have imagined them to be. If I go and take a look at the bottom of his roster, the only 3 characters that he does not have relic is Kyle Katarn, Darth Talon, and Mara Jade, presumably because he's going for Star Killer and he hasn't got them all the way up starred yet. But everything else is at least relic 3. You can look at that this guy has spent and invested a ton on his account. The mods are not as great. It doesn't have as many good speed mods and all of that. It does have about 50% more 6E than me, but not as many good speed mods as me. But when you have these many characters at Relic, you already have implicitly a speed advantage because, for example, one of his characters, which is Relic Gear 13, the same character of mine at Gear 11 for the same mods would be about 20 speed slower than his because gear 13, gear 12, the right side pieces add 6, and 10, about 22 to 24, depending on the speed mod, speed of the characters and all. They would add about 20 to 25 extra speed just because that character is gear 13 and mine is gear 11. So even for the same, even with a lower mod set than me, implicitly my opponent, just with the higher relic count, has got their characters relatively faster, hitting for much harder, and all of that. Especially the concept of stat sharing at higher relic levels, it gets insane. And as I will find out in my attacks, you'll see. Okay, so capital ship. Yeah, this guy has got all the capital ships mostly at R8. His Piet is at R9, in fact. The very first Piet that I'm going to be facing, which is going to be R9, which is going to be interesting. And I'm sure to see it on defense. So let's see how I do against that. So what I decided to do was my opponent usually goes with 5 GLs on defense. Always from all the history that I've seen the last couple of seasons of 5v5, he's gone with 5 GLs, 5 of his 6 GLs on defense, and he keeps all of them, about 4 GLs in the bottom zone, 1 GL at the top, mostly Jedi Master Luke, R9 Jedi Master Luke, and then he prevents his opponents from clearing even a single zone of his. So what I decided to do was I decided to play a game of not going for full clear, because when you're going up against an opponent who out rosters you by so much, you can't compete with them with the full strength of your roster. You can't compete roster to roster. You have to get them out of the comfort zone and play with only a certain portion of your roster which can compete with a certain portion of their roster. What do I mean by that? That means that I decided to play not for clearing. I decided to play for a single zone. Like either 2 zones that I clear, that I plan to clear, that my opponent will not be able to clear. And if I do it more efficiently than my opponent, then I win. That was my goal. So what I did was, because I was almost certain of the fact that my opponent would keep 5 GLs on defense, I decided to keep 2 GLs up top and 2 GLs down south. Because my opponent was not very comfortable with off-meta counters to GLs. So if he decided to keep all 5 GL or 5 of his 6 GLs on defense, he would not be able to clear a single zone of mine up top or down south. And then all I need to do is clear one zone, and I had 1 GL on offense to do that, and then I would be able to get more banners than him, clear more zones than him, and then get the victory. So that was my goal. And when you're doing a strategy like this, the kind of GL, if you want to go really defense heavy and trip up your opponent who's like way outmoded, way out GLs you, then keep 1 GL at least on offense to give you that flexibility. And the GL that you need to keep on offense is, I would recommend one of the 2 Jedi GLs. Both Jedi Master Kenobi as well as Jedi Master Luke, if you've got the right team with them, they can help you to take out any other GL that you see on the board. So that helps to give you that extra flexibility. And then save teams like GAS or Grievous, which can also, or Jedi Knight Luke, which can also help to give you some sort of an off-meta counter against some other GLs, some low-level GLs that you can possibly take out. So keep that kind of flexibility when you're doing this kind of a strategy. When you're keeping all but one of your GLs on defense, keep some of those other off-meta counter teams which can help you take down some GLs, keep GOs on offense, keep your troopers on offense, all those characters which can help you clean up GLs pretty well, and then keep 1 GL which will really give you that flexibility to clean up at least one tough GL on the board. So that's what I did. I decided to keep my Jedi Master Luke on offense, and then I kept my other 4 GLs on defense. So down south, you can see over here, I kept my Jedi Master Kenobi and my SLKR team, and then up top, I kept my Rey and I kept my non-ultimate Lord Vader. Now, unfortunately for me, what ended up happening was my opponent, instead of he changed his strategy. Maybe you saw that I'm a 1.12 million lifetime legacy championship player, and he wanted to. You saw probably how tough, what kind of a tough defense I usually keep. So instead of 5 GLs on defense, he kept 3 GLs on defense. So that really, screwed up my plans. And what ended up happening was, if he had kept 5 GLs on defense, he wouldn't have cleared a single zone of mine, and I would have won comfortably. But since he kept only 3 GLs on defense, he had 3 GLs on offense. He ended up wasting all 3 GLs trying to take out my bottom zone. He wasted 1 GL on the SLKR, 1 GL on the Jedi Master Kenobi. I think he took his own Jedi Master Kenobi there, and he wasted his Sith Eternal on my CLS down south. Two battles on my SLKR, which was good to see. I got a little bit of breathing room, and then at the top, I'd kept my Maul team, which he one shot, I think with CLS. Or gas. I think he might have taken gas against that. And then the other 3 teams, the real tough teams that I set, Rey and Lord Vader and gas, he wasn't able to touch any of them because he'd already exhausted all of his GLs. So I was at least able to restrict my opponent from from clearing two of my zones. So that gave me a little bit of extra room, but it's still going to be a tough situation. So you can see over here, I should have probably kept something a little bit tougher at the back, but I was so confident that he's not going to break through any of my front zones that I kept a relatively weak back zone, which he was able to one shot for no problem at all. With a roster depth like what he had, or R7 Bad Batch, for example, there's just no way that his B or A minus teams were not able to clear me. So up top, I decided that if he decides to go up north and try to punch through my Ray and my Lord Vader, then I was hoping to keep two really tough teams on ships to trip him up, my own executor as well as my negotiator. So that is my plan. So unfortunately, he didn't reach ships. So those two ships went on waste. But let me show you what he kept on defense. Even though he only kept 3 GLs, he kept a reasonably tough defense. He's got his BAM team over here. He's got his R8 separatist squad with R7 on everyone else. He's got R7 on all the geos, and he's got R8 BAM, who hits really, really hard. And the more dangerous aspect about the BAM team is not BAM, the R8 BAM itself, but the R7 Quill. Because of the way that stat sharing works, Quill gives out an absurd amount of stats at R7 to the rest of the characters, Dengar and R7 Nest and BAM and all of that, which makes them hit extremely, extremely hard. And then he's also got his Darth Revan squad. Usually he keeps a vanilla Darth Revan squad, but this time he kept it under Maul lead. Otherwise, I would have taken troopers against that. But almost all of them are R7 as well. Yeah, everyone is R7. So yeah, so let's go and take a look at what's there at the bottom, because that's my main problem zone. So he kept 3 of his GLs down south. He's kept his SLKR, his Ray, and his Lord Vader. And he's kept Tal's team down south. Now, keep in mind, I just have 1 GL left on offense because I've kept 4 of my GLs on defense, and that 1 GL is Jedi Master Luke. And I don't have gas, which I could have probably used to take out the Ray. And I just have a Jedi Master Luke team available. So I did some calculation. I knew that my opponent is probably not going to get more than 926. I didn't have any other team left to take out my 3 teams up top. So I had to beat 926. As long as I one-shot all 4 teams up top and 2 teams down south, and I took care of the ship zone, I should be able to get more than 926. I would have probably got 950 or something like that. So I still had a path to victory. It's still not game over for me. It would have obviously been better if my opponent went even more defense heavy, more predictable like I thought. But right now it's still not game over for me. I still have a path to victory. I just need to clear 2 teams down south. So his Talzin squad, and then one other squad of his, one of the 3 GLs, and then clear all 4 squads up top with decent enough efficiency to ensure my victory. And I have to one-shot his R9 Piet as well. So that is also there. So it's a slim shot at victory, but it's there. I do have a path. So let's go ahead and take out the squads one by one. Let's go for his Separatist squad first, and I decide to go with my Bad Batch. This is a pretty straightforward counter. I just have to keep in mind that I need to do whatever I can to recover protection whenever I can. The full squad is R7 with the exception of Grievous here, who's R8. So I'm trying to, land as many stuns as I can. I like to pass the turn meter over to Wrecker and have him do a second round of stuns, just to prevent teams from, preventing these guys from taking another turn. And I decide to use Omega's first special on Grievous, so that whatever that ability is called, every time I do damage everywhere else, Omega also does damage to Grievous. So it just helps to take him down a little earlier. So my team is doing okay in terms of banners as well. A little bit of protection lost, and these guys are dying pretty fast. But you can see over here, 2 Separatists died one after the other, and my his R8 Grievous has almost taken out my G11 or my G12 Omega. But I had saved Omega's second special over here and managed to use that at the right time to heal up the whole squad. Now it's just a question of getting rid of Grievous, and then um, we can take care of Newt. And I think my full squad is at full protection, so I get the full 75, 10 for the initial battle, and then 65 for ending with full protection on everyone. So good start. The Grievous team was taken out by a bad batch for max banners, which is great to see. Now I wanted to take now over here you can see my aura squad. Let me just show you the aura squad that I have. I'm trying to go up against this BAM team, which is pretty scary because even though they're not as fast, I've got a Omicron Zam that I threw in over here to ensure that I outspeed the enemy team. So even though they're not fast, because of the fact that they've got so many relics on them and because of the stat sharing that they have, I need to kill them fast. Otherwise, these guys are going to get out of control, and the damage that they'll do will be too much for my team. And I've got a severe lack of relics over here. You can see only two of my characters are relicked up, Zam and Bosk. I've got a gear 10 Aura Singh. I've got a gear 12 Grief Karga and Mandalorian. And this guy has got like, let's see, 7, 6, 7, 5, 34 relic levels on his team, which is crazy. So this is more of a mismatch, but I had very limited amount on offense. I'd kept my CLS, GAS, all of those good teams as well on defense. So I had a very limited amount on offense that I could take against this particular squad because I needed to make sure that Bam was taken care of before he gets a chance to go. So do abilities over here while my team is buffed up to get the contract as soon as I can. I take out. I'm almost at 70% contract right now, so almost at full contract. I just need to make sure that I keep these guys under control, 80%. So I'm trying to do as many abilities as I can to try to get rid of. There we go. I've got my contract. Now I need to take care of. I'm still stuck behind a taunt over here, so no option for me but to go after this guy. And I'm not critting against this guy, which is my Bam has not got a chance to take a turn, or my Mando has not got a chance to take a turn. But I'm trying to bide my time, trying to see if I can get ahead of Quill over there, because you can see over there the my Bando is not going to go before my Quill, and that's bad news for me because I need to be able to get rid of Bam as soon as I can. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Um, I've got the team more or less under control, but unfortunately, Quill goes and gives everyone turn meter, and then I'm able to take out Bam. But the fact of the matter is, the team has already gone and gotten turn meter, and look at that. The big hit from Dengar with all the stat sharing from Quill took out my 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 G10 Aura Singh right away. So I had no chance over there at all. And now I'm trying to see if I can get rid of Quill over here because he's the main problem dealer, but I'm still stuck behind a taunt. And look at that. One big AoE from Nest almost took out my Bando, which is really bad news for me. My Bam. Not my Bam, my Mando. Yep. So I'm trying to take care of Quill as soon as I can, and I'm trying to go after him. But look at that, an AOE from a basic from IG-11 was able to take out my my BAM for the first time, and then Boss got taken out. So look at that. Because of the R7 on Quill, he was in red health, but just not able to take out. Even if it was an R5, he would have been taken out, and I would have probably had a chance to one-shot this team. But now, I've lost my BAM, I've lost my Bosk, I've lost Aura as well. There's just no way that even an Omicron Zam will be able to take care of this team. So I thought that I had a chance against this team when I initially went in, but just the sheer amount of relic levels on this team made me had my very first fail against this particular team, and I just wasn't able to take anyone out. So ended up with a defeat over here with only one character taken out. So I couldn't afford any losses at all. So already with this loss, I'm in a tough situation because I've lost 20 banners, and if I'd done my math correctly, I needed to one-shot all the other teams in order to win. But now, I thought at this point that I'd probably lost, so I just decided to go ahead and use the Geos for a cleanup. And without BAM in there, Geos are an easier cleanup, but take a look over here. These guys are taking so many turns, and even before my Geo team got a chance to go, their nest was able to take out my soldier, which was bad news for me. So here also I'm in a tricky spot, but Geos are a very versatile squad. Even if you lose one of them, the way that the turn meter train is set up, they are able to do a decent enough job to take out squads. So Dengar over there doing tons of mayhem with his thermals and all of that. But I need to get rid of Quill ASAP because his stat sharing is what is causing tons of grief for me. So there I go, take out Quill, and then I need to heal up as soon as I can and take out the other characters one by one, starting with Nest because she is has the ability to ignore taunt and can cause some problems for me. So I'm just waiting for my heal to come back around and for Spy's big snipe to come back around. And my Geos, only two of them are relic up. Most of them are all G12. So not that my Geos are that great as well. So I have to, dance around them a little bit to make sure that they all survive. All right. IG11 is really, really thick, so I'm having a little bit of a problem taking him out. But here I get my chance with Nest, take her out, and then focus on IG11 to take him out. And now I just have to go after Dengar to take him out. Not really bother about recovering health and protection over here because I've already lost tons of banners, 20 banners for the first loss, and at least six to seven banners over here, 37. Yeah, so lost a ton of banners, at least 8 banners in this match and 20 from before. So not in a good situation, but I'm trying to do the best that I can with the teams that I have. And against the Geo squad, I thought I'll take in my Mon Mothma with Kyle Katan. I thought that these guys might have more of a turn meter train to be able to control the Geos and be able to take them out. So I decided to take these guys in with Kyle Katan, and he definitely, with Kyle Katan in there, he does have, his effective speed is about 370 something with all the bonuses that these guys get. And I wanted to start with Force Influence on the Brute. This particular debuff, when you apply, it prevents the Brute from counter attacking back, which is great to see. So when you do any damage on him, he doesn't attack back, which is good, as long as he has that debuff. So my turn meter train is going okay so far, and I'm trying to, but this is like all of these guys are like R7, so I'm having a really tough time making any dent whatsoever. Even though these guys are hitting harder with Kyle Katan in there, but I'm barely able to make any dent over here, and I need to. And this guy's Brood Alpha was able to go before I had a chance to really get enough of a turn meter train going, and because of that he was able to take out my POW, the main guy responsible for my turn meter generation. He was able to take him out. All the Geos are able to take him out in one turn itself, just because they're all R7. They're hitting so hard that my G10 POW really didn't have a chance. Well, I think I've got him up to G11 right now. But anyway, so I've managed to get my power back, and I'm trying to see if I can and start another turn meter train somehow. And I'm okay. I'm doing okay at this stage, trying to get some amount of turn meter train going, trying to target Poggle over here. But again, these guys, even a single turn that they take, they're able to take out one of my characters just because they do so much damage on their basic that I have no chance at all. So if it was a regular Geo squad, Relic 2, Relic 3, I think I may have had a chance with this, but with Relic 7 and all of them, there was just no chance. These guys hit just too hard and didn't give me any chance at all. Maybe if I had taken the regular TM version of Mon Mothma with Biston instead of Kyle Katan, that might have been able to do a much better job of maintaining the TM train and preventing these guys from going at all. So anyway, that might have been an okay option. But I decided to go ahead. So now I've had two fails. By this time, I know for a fact that I'm not going to win this match. So I just have to do what I can to get as many banners as I can to make it at least a close match. But I try to see whether I can at least take out the Geos with Night Sisters. Now, this is the second time that I'm using Night Sisters against Geo in this week, after failing once against Geos. So I think I should probably just go ahead and use Night Sisters for the first time against Geos, because these were already turn meter train loaded. And even if the Geos are turn meter train loaded, and even if they're all R7, Night Sisters do a really good job of taking them out. There's really no problem at all. You can see that my Night Sister Spirit was able to one-shot an R7 spy just like that. No problem at all. So even though most of my Night Sisters are G12, but even then they're no match for for Geos, just because they do so much of they gain so much of turn meter, they do so much of stuns, they have so much of plague, and there's so much of ramping health on Daka that these guys are just not able to do enough damage in time. So what I'm doing initially is just trying to build up enough of Dakas. I try to call as many assists as I can and build up enough of health from Daka. And when I lose two sisters, that's when I usually tend to call use Daka's revive ability and call everyone back. But otherwise, I'm doing okay so far, trying to take out Brood Alpha when I can, but this guy is so thick that he really doesn't go down that easy. So I'm trying to stun and control them as much as I can. Do basics to call Talzin out of the dead, and once two sisters are dead, revive all of them again, keep putting plague on them, and keep controlling the battle. This is what I should have probably done in the first try itself, but I think I wanted to maximize my banners given that I already had one loss, so I wanted to get like 65 instead of sure 60 with Night Sisters. But you can see over here, it's really easy to it's a sure thing going with Night Sisters and killing Geos. Even with the relic difference, it's not a big deal. So I ended up with a second shot victory over there again. And then finally there's the Darth Revan squad on the Maul lead. Now, typically, Maul lead gives about 20% TM bonus to all Sith. But in this case, Jedi Knight Revan's lead ability, it nullifies Maul's lead. Both Maul's lead as well as Basti lead. Jedi Knight Revan lead nullifies that because it doesn't allow for the turn meter generation that takes place over there. So the Sith don't get the 20% bonus turn TM gain, and I'm able to take in my Jedi Knight Revan lead with I needed a high hitting Jedi, so I got Cam in there. I Most people usually prefer to take in Jedi Knight Revan in there because he can't get feared. But I needed my Jedi Knight Revan to take against one of the GLs down south. So I decided to use Cam, another hard-hitting Jedi, to try to take these guys down. Now these guys are a little irritating because they bounce around in terms of stealth and all of that other stuff. But as long as you have Jolie in there and you have one hard-hitting Jedi at least, you should be able to take care of this squad relatively easier. So I don't know why people keep Darth Revan under Maul lead. It's a really the hard counter to that is Jedi Knight Revan. Even if it's highly relic up like this, like almost all the characters here are R7, but even with the relic difference, it's really not much of an issue going with the Jedi Knight Revan lead. Darth Revan lead would have been more problematic because Deathmark would have come in and then that would have prevented revives and all of that other stuff. But with the Maul lead, it's really not much of an issue. So I'm just waiting for at this stage for Marauder to come out of stealth um, because he hits really hard. So I'm able to take out Revan over here with one hit. And if you see over here, I've kept my Cam in his defensive stance. He still hits hard enough, but with the defensive stand, he was able to counter and at least get some amount of protection back. But now I've switched him back to offensive stance, and hopefully with this, I should be able to generate some amount of protection back. Now I just need to take out Maul when I can, and then take out Darth Malak, who shouldn't be much of a problem. Try to heal over here to get back some amount of protection, and then just need to take down Darth Malak, which shouldn't be much of a problem. One big heal, and then I've got feared, so I'm still have to bide my time waiting for this thing to go off, and then should be able to take care of this. So if this guy had put a plain Darth Revan squad, maybe I would have just gone with troopers and gotten 65. But 63 is not bad. So especially if you're not using a GL against Darth Revan. So this was an okay outcome as well. Now at the back, as expected, there is an R9 Piet over there, and then a Radius squad. So I decided to go ahead and just get it over with. Um, I decided to take in my Empire counter against it, which is Imperial TIE Fighter, and then my Separatist squad, the rest of it. And this one requires a bit of luck, but as long as you know what you're doing and you get a little bit of favorable RNG, you should be able to take care of it. I was a little worried going in because I didn't know how an R9 Piet would behave, but but it really is not that much different from an R8 Piet. So you start with a special on Bosk first, always. So he was able to target my Hyena bomb, my Vulture droid, and take him out. Now I'm trying to. What I like to do is, if my Vulture droid is taken out, I like to do the AOE and like to save my heal, because what happens is, at this stage when you put in your at this stage when you do your AOE, you land buzz droids on everyone, and then when you get in your spy, then you're able to target a character which already has buzz droids. So in this case, it's the Mandalorian ship, the Razor Crest, and because of the buzz droids, I'm able to do a decent amount of damage over there. Luckily, there was no bounty hunter ship which came in. There's the Sith ship, the Maul ship has come in, which is why I always like to keep only the two bounty hunter ships on defense. Now I'm able to take out Razor Crest once. He still has a taunt on him, so I'm trying to see if I can take him out a second time. He's done his heal ability. Now is the time to get in your Karth ship, and then dispel all the debuffs, and then try to. And I've seen that Cad Bane has got buzz droids, so I'm trying to target him, trying to take down as much as I can, try to get his health down low. They've got their first contract, the bounty hunters contract over here, but I'm trying to at least take um, Cad down by a little bit more before I get to my ultimate. There we go. We are one away from the ultimate, but one AoE is able to take care of Cad, so we've got one less ship to worry about. Now his Boba comes in, and it's taken care of my spy. Now I have very few ships left, but at this point I like to do the second special with the Karth ship to get reapply chaff on everyone, so that these guys don't apply target lock, because the key is to delay the executor's ultimate by as much as you can. So every time that you don't have chaff, try to see if you can reapply chaff over there. And now you see I've got to my ultimate, which is great. The very first thing you need to do is get rid of Bosk, because even if you have to clean up, the cleanup is way easier if you don't have Bosk in there. So it's taking a while for me to get rid of Bosk over here, because I believe it's an R8 Bosk. But what I like to do is, whoever has got the maximum turn meter, I like to get in my Sunfac, stun that character, because Sunfac stuns when he enters, and then go after whoever else is there. In this case, the main danger is Bosk. So I'm trying to get to Bosk. Unfortunately, he's been hidden right now, but I'm trying to do what I can to. There he goes. He starts taunting now, and unfortunately, the executor reaches his ultimate. But I've got enough buzz droids out that these guys have a couple of ships have taken care of themselves. But I still need to try to see if I can take out Bosk before too much damage to my ships get done, because I don't have my own enemy ship, my own ship anymore. So it's a little bit problematic, but I am able to get Bosk down over here, and then now it's an easy enough cleanup, even if I have to clean up. I've got two non-bounty hunter ships over here, and I'm trying to do what I can to take these guys out. One ship left, and there you go. So even though the executor was able to get the ultimate out, I was able to take it out for 61, which is 61 is the equivalent of I believe 54, because you get 7 banners for the enemy ships killing the enemy ships. So 61 minus 7 is about 64, 54. So that's it was okay for a one shot. I mean, I'm always happy to one shot executor, especially in R91. So I'm not. I was pretty happy with that result. Now I've taken my rebel undersized against the enemy rebel ship, enemy radish ship. And over here, what you need to do is get rid of the biggest threat, who is going to be Ray's Scavenger. So I do the wiggle and try to dispel all those buffs on Scavenger Ray before she. And yeah, that was a dodge, so that was unfortunate. But the second one did not miss. And before she does a wiggle and gets all those buffs, which gives her counter chance, you need to get rid of all of that stuff as soon as you can. So I was able to take care of Ray before she got to go. And now it's a question of getting rid of the other ships, other resistance ships primarily. Poe first, and then you go after resistance pilot. So he's got his Lando ship out here. So I decide, since everyone is dazed, I just decide to call in my other tank to give some amount to reduce some amount of heat from the other characters, and also to help me with some amount of protection regeneration, because every time he does his basic, these guys recover. The rest of my rebel ships recover some protection. Now I need to make sure I get the final resistance ship out. I decide to heal up my Biggs over here since he's running a little bit low. And with this, the final resistance ship is out, and there's no more danger over here. It's just a question of cleaning up against this particular ship. I'm almost at full health and full protection on everyone except for, I think, missing health on a couple of my ships. So end with 73, which is the equivalent of about 66, I think, which is a good outcome. So I was happy with the ship zone. I'm not in the running anymore because I dropped two battles. I think I had the space to drop maximum one battle, but yeah. So I'm still going to try to make it as close as possible at this stage. Against the Night Sister squad, again, all our 7 Night Sisters, pretty formidable. But troopers, even low gear troopers, like most of my troopers are G12. But even low gear troopers, as long as you outspeed the Night Sisters and you keep the turn meter train rolling, they do a really good job against sisters, not allowing them to take a single turn. Just check out how tanky this zombie is. I do a huge hit from dark, and even after a couple of hits from dark, you'll see over here that the Night Sister zombie has barely reached into health. It's still in full health and full protection. So it takes a mass assist from Veers to get zombie down for the first time. And now I should have targeted the weakest sister, which is probably going to be Spirit, but Talzin also is fine to take out because she does get turn meter when someone comes into yellow. So I wanted to avoid that. That's why I decided to take out Talzin twice. And then I decided to take her a third time. The good thing is I've got the Zeta on Stark, so that every time he goes, a little bit of turn meter gets reduced from the enemy, because both Asajj and Daka get turn meter over here when they go. So it's good to have that Zeta on Stark just to prevent the team from ever taking a single turn at all. So pretty straightforward. 65 banners over here, not allowing the enemy team to take a single turn, and finishing with full banners over here. Now I have just one GL left, and there are 3 GLs on the board, so I just decided to take my 1 GL against SLKR, because that's SLKR against JML versus SLKR. I know that I'll be able to do a decent job against that, especially since I don't have my cam anymore. I probably won't be able to tackle Rey or Lord Vader, so I felt I had a highest chance of going against SLKR, and I've already expended my JKR, so I couldn't go with an off-meta counter of JKR and JKL against SLKR. I had to use my GL over here. So this one is a pretty straightforward match. I got Yoda in there just to spread foresight whenever I can. And I'm trying to give turn meter to Jedi Knight Luke so that he can inflict uh, stun on everyone. So I've been calling him to assist most of the time. And there we go. Because of all the hits that these guys took, my old Ben got turn meter, and he managed to reduce everyone's turn meter and give them ability block. Now I'm just trying to get red out so that I can target Hux and the other characters without worrying about red taking a turn and cleansing them. The Kylo is hitting hard, but as long as I keep my as long as I keep my Jedi Master Luke topped up with protection, I should be good. So I'm trying to keep calling Jedi Knight Luke to take care of red, and now because of the advantage on Hux, I'm not able to get any turn meter. So I'm trying to get rid of Hux now so that I can focus on getting these guys down. Okay, so he hasn't reached his ultimate yet. He's still far away from the ultimate, but I managed to reach mine, which is great because now I should be able to get the battle in control. I don't have any healing ability anymore over here, but so I won't be able to end with full health and full protection. But I'm able to do a decent enough job to end with 62, so lost about 3 banners over there. So that was the extent of my attack phase. I couldn't really do anything more against this guy. And the final score was I ended up with 903 versus 926, so close, 23 banners. If I ended up losing 2 battles, which I really shouldn't have. If I had even one solid team on offense, I could have one-shot one of those teams, and then maybe got a few more banners on some other teams and ended up with a victory over there. Or even if I had one-shot both the teams, I would have had a comfortable victory by about 15 to 17 banners. But I made it close. It really sucks losing because I came so close to winning over here. But some of those relic differences are really tough to overcome, and um, I needed to do something to shake my opponent up, and my it didn't go according to my plan as well because I was so confident that my opponent was going to keep 5 GLs on defense because that's what they've done every single time in the last 2 seasons of 5v5, that I had made my plan accordingly. But what I should have done was I should have anticipated for the fact that if my opponent did not go according to the plan and only kept, say, 3 or 4 GLs on defense, what is my backup plan? That means that my opponent would be able to punch through one or the two zones, and I needed to keep a tough zone at the back to ensure that they get tripped up over there. So I did that for the ship zone. I kept both negotiator as well as executor up top. So in case my opponent decided to go the top route, if they had 2 or 3 GLs, then they would hopefully struggle against the ship zone. The same thing I should have done in the south zone as well. I'd kept 2 GLs up front, but if my opponent had saved 2 or 3 GLs for offense, I should have kept at least a gas or a CLS or maybe Padme, Bando, or some sort of a squad like that, which would trip them up. In case they're able to expend all of their GLs in the front and basically make them struggle against a really tough team at the back. I had 3 really weak teams up at the back because I was sure my opponent wasn't going to clear the front zones. So that's going to be my approach going forward. Is if I decide to go the Sturtling strategy of going really defense heavy, front loading my walls with GLs, I would still go ahead and keep tough teams at the back in case my opponent decides to power through one of the walls. And then I would have if I would have done that, I would have basically had my opponent only clear one zone of mine, and then I would have cleared at least 2 zones, and I would have won based on banners based on that. So that, I think, was another strategic error that I probably made. But hey, you learn for the future. And now I feel a little more comfortable, because we're going to end up seeing matches like these all the time, where you're going to be out-GL'd, you're going to be out-relicked, out-modded. So you need to come up with some out-of-the-box strategies to outwit your opponent, because you can't play to their strength. If I had gone a full roster to roster matchup, I would have probably lost, because there's no way that I would have been able to compete with their full roster. So I needed to bring the battle to my terms. But anyway, it was a good match. I enjoyed it a lot. It was good to see how much I could actually stretch myself against an opponent like this. I think going forward, don't know what kind of opponents I'll get in week 2, but I'm sure it's going to be a good mix of opponents like these who will have all 6 GLs with all their ultimates. So I will have to do what I can to modify my strategy to attack the opponent that I'm facing. So I think I'm feeling more comfortable about opponents like this. I was a little nervous going into this particular match, but seeing how close I came to beating this guy and seeing what I could have done differently to get that victory, I think I'm more confident going into the future about how to handle an opponent like that. So that's it for me for this match. I think I'm going to sign off now, and watch out for more videos from me in week two. I'll probably only make videos for really against really good opponents. If I get a mismatch or a not that interesting of a video, I'll probably skip it. But if you see a video from me, you can rest assured that the opponent is going to be really good. All right, so that's it for now. I've gone 2-1 in the first week, which means I won't get as many crazy opponents as those guys who've gone 3-0. I think those guys will be matched up with other characters who are also 3-0. But this is the first few weeks, so you never know. It might be a mixture of opponents, at least for the first month. The next month onwards, anyone who's going 3-0 will really start to see the competition heat up. But yeah, that's it for now. Hope you guys are enjoying your GACs. Let me know in the comments what you've been doing to prevail against opponents who've outmodded or out-rostered you or out-GL'd you. What you're doing when you're the underdog. It's always great to hear strategies from across the community. So that's it for now. I will chat with you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Take care and happy gaming.